Hey, welcome back to Quantum Transformations podcast. I'm your host, Kelley Boone, and today I want to speak to trusting yourself. And I think that this is a particularly important topic to the women that I serve because we're so sensitive and we're born into a very particular path. And this path is very heavily filled with a lot of spiritual warfare. And in that warfare is, the opposition trying to prevent you from stepping into your gift, your path, your power, what you were created for, your soul blueprint. And spiritual warfare is something that is a part of being human. It's a part of living on this planet. And it's something that is both natural and common. Um, but it's also something that, because, the path of the elders and certain uh, pathways of information arriving has been eliminated from our existence, from our way of life. There's no one there for this particular woman, and she's alone and lost, and then experiencing all of these attacks, and typically has no one who is there to reaffirm into her to trust herself and that she does know how to navigate through it and to recognize when there's an attack being spoken and how to not absorb it. So there's a lot of layers there intertwined. And yeah, I really felt this message and this expression coming through so strong. So I'm just here live actually walking through what is wanting to come through so strongly. Like normally I'll take some time to digest and journal and sit with it, but it just felt like turn the camera on. This is season 2, episode 2, like share the message. So hi, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. And I hope that this episode can really serve you and nourish you on a deep soul and cellular level, because odds are you're still alone in life. Odds are you're still in isolation. Because by the time you evolve into the type of woman who can access community and people and you don't deal with all the pain points, you're already trusting yourself. So if this is finding you, it's probably finding you because you're still struggling here. And I'm still struggling here. So tuning into the layers of this, I just want to speak to that struggle and validate the shit out of it, because this type of woman really needs that. There's nobody there in your life doing it at all. Like everybody wants to see you fail. So what this looks like and is experienced like is there's, people set up in these contracts and at these frequencies in their self where they're letting in these spirits who come forth to try to sow seeds of doubt, seeds of self-loathing, low self-confidence, um, just like anxiety, or wanting to be in avoidance of the world and people instead of leaning into yourself, leaning into your gifts, instead of validating yourself. It's really hard because you have to do it all on your own. And so most people, struggle with that. Like, that's where you're going to struggle, because it's so difficult to gather the strength and the courage and the willingness, and sometimes even the desire to do that. It's so much easier to just go home, shut the door, close out the world, and just live like that. But that's not why you were made. You have a very unique and specific blueprint, and you were made to express your blueprint. And you're getting so much like crushing, suffocating negative energy and feedback from other people, not because something is wrong with you, but the opposite, because you're literally coded. And I personally view this as God codes, which I know will strike a chord in some people, who might lash out and call that like purity consciousness. But just tune into like my heart and my energy and feel the where and what I'm expressing it from. It's not egoic, it's actually validating for the blueprint of this woman and this person. Like, you are gifted, and as much as the world wants to tell you that you're not and that we're all the same, I'm sorry, it's really just not true. And you need to hear that, and it's really important that you hear that, actually, because that is going to nourish you in a way that you just haven't been nourished. And nourishment is so important. The more you lean into nourishment, nourishment is actually what is going to unwind all these spells that have been cast upon you. All these evil eyes are going to get flicked back to where they came from. All of these, like, negativity and shrinking that you've absorbed of other people's emotional weights and their own issues, everything that you've absorbed and taken on that's not actually yours, these are just spells to keep you small from this opposition. Some people call it Satan, some people say, the them, the they, the opposition, the other, whatever. It doesn't, the dark side of the moon, whatever. Like, I am not hung up on words. Like, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to keep highlighting and illuminating that too, because there's so much story and narrative and identification. And it's really important for this woman to build a sense of connection with center and attunement to trusting yourself, your intuition, what comes through. So it's not as much of paying attention to the words somebody uses, or, da 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 da, whatever people want to say. It's like listening to that internal compass that guides you, where you know that there's sensations and feelings that bring you information. So, in this, I always accidentally squeeze the crap out of this cute little microphone, and then before I know it, my fingers are like clenching, like melting. Okay, so recenter. So, because you have these, I do think, okay, let's backtrack a little bit, because I was like, they're God codes. Why are they God codes? Okay, these God codes are a level of, think of it this way, like, in the presence of God, can we lie? No, we can't. Like, is God gonna see through everything clearly? Like, yes, God is clarity. God is clear. That's it. And I'm not he, she, God, bit. I'm just speaking about God, Creator, Holy Mother, Holy Father, Holy Spirit, like this unit, this being, this Creator, this unified field. Don't resonate with universe. That will be another episode. But again, returning to the sensation, not the words. Know what I'm speaking to, know what I'm not speaking to. Feel that. So, from this place in recognition, can we lie to God? Like, no. Like, we could try, right? But, like, it's going to be known. The truth is known. Okay? So, this particular sensitive, gifted woman, these God codes alive in your blood are the exact coding that people feel when you enter the room. And it's not the people and their flesh feeling it, it's the spirits that they carry. And those spirits are expressing very upset that you're around. They're going to attack you. And it's easy to attack you when you haven't owned who you are and your power and built this strength and connection with yourself, which really means building connection and relationship with God. God's like waiting for you to really arrive fully there in truth and begin that relationship with Holy Spirit. And part of, the planning of taking us away from this truth is this religious trauma. So there's probably a lot of restriction in your body and contraction, even as I am speaking about this, as I'm saying, God this, God that, Holy Spirit, da da da. Like, I am also in that way. Like, I've worked through and healed so much religious trauma to be able to say this, speak to this, feel this, embody this, walk this. And this is your path and calling. And the they, them, the dark have intentionally implanted so much trauma and disconnection and distortion into these religious realms to create confusion and even like like I don't even want to lean into that type of way. And that's where people are finding more comfort in saying, things like the universe and going into these other paths or connecting with deities and things. Just doing the whole little dance to do everything but literally make eye contact with God. Like look, it's like side eyeing and dancing around and like, oh, there's something greater. I feel it, but I'm just gonna. It's like we're just lying to ourselves. So, as we arrive in this truth of this is what's going on, this is where we belong, and recognizing that people hating on you when you walking into a room and like getting glares, like you're just breathing and existing, you don't even know anybody there, you just step one foot in and like this happens to you. You go to a coffee shop and you're trying to order something and the barista is like just so rude. It's not that they're having a bad day, like that's not what it is. It's literally your coding upsetting the spirits that they carry. And these are demonic spirits. If you haven't made the connection yet, I'll just say it out loud, right? And so, in this, right, there's so much negativity and contraction and weight just getting sent and pokes and shards and spears and like da 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 da. It's like if your field is not fortified, then all these things are going to get through and you're just going to feel so horrible about yourself. Like you're such a sensitive, gentle little being and you're going to just feel horrible. It's like I can't have any friends, I can't have nice things. Everybody hates me. Like what's wrong with me? Like I just want to avoid people. I don't even like people. I don't even enjoy this. I feel like I need to morph myself to be a different version of me, to be palatable. Whenever I speak with my authority or who I am, it upsets people. Like all of these things are reflecting spiritual warfare and, Satanism winning, preventing you from stepping into your power, your gifts. So, a big part of this in this disconnection is where you're not fully trusting yourself. When we fully trust ourselves completely, we're in our center, our inner channel, And from this place, we're actually going to validate the things that we see instead of gaslighting ourselves. We're gonna know that it's actually pretty weird when we walk into a room and for complete strangers to be so rude and negative and glaring and da 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 da, da, right? Like, why would we want to go and try to make friends with somebody having that, right? That's not the relationship that it's meant to happen. So stop trying to be everybody's friend, but also stop trying to avoid everybody. Start validating yourself and your experience. And in this validation, the path and the truth is going to reveal. And it's God calling you home to honor yourself and through that build connection. Build connection with truth, with God, with Holy Spirit. And in this filtration system will be set up of, oh, that's what's going on. That's what it is. And now there's a lot of you out there who might identify as a psychic or a witch, whatever terminology is out there, and these fall into more of the identity trap. I haven't fully done a episode specifically on the identity traps, but I pretty much bring it into a lot of what I talk about. It's like always there, right? So why is this not completely honest and in truth and in alignment with God? Because these are all like back doors of spiritual realm working. So when we talk about being a psychic or gifts or whatever, I'm not saying don't go by that. You don't have those gifts. That's not what I'm talking about. You do have those gifts, but by identifying in that realm and utilizing these backdoor methods, this is not a path of integrity. And integrity and transparency is like the highest path in relationship with the Most High. Because again, if we're in the presence of God, we cannot lie, we cannot deceive. Like, everything is felt and known, but all the spiritual information is also known by this other side, by Satan, by the dark side, whatever you want to call it. And so in this recognition, there's going to be so many things trying to knock you off your center and getting you to go into these pathways in which are what I view as unclean. And again, going to recognize that there are people who like to project, and I know that it does exist, but please recognize and feel from where I'm speaking from. And I'm referencing purity consciousness and the purity matrix trap. And I am right here. I'm not in this purist. And I know it can be a very sensitive topic, especially when there's been just so many layers of history of that. However, there is a truth in what I'm speaking, and I trust that you can feel that and honor it. So there's so many traps that are trying to latch onto the identity. And that's how we know there's something there. Because when we work directly with God, directly with Holy Spirit, it is felt, it is known, it is there, clear, concise. It is not these other methods of playing a role. So what we're seeing is people getting lost right now on a mass scale. We're seeing women getting lost in, I don't want to go too far into the identities and everything in this episode. I want it to be focused on trusting yourself. But I just want to say this part and then we're gonna. So we're seeing women on a mass scale getting lost in this, in the identities. Oh, I thought I was a bruja. Oh, I thought it was this. And then completely renouncing. I thought I was a shaman, and then completely renouncing it. And then going into, like sexually repressed, like Christianity or some other sort of religious system. And so highlighting here that I'm not speaking to this or encouraging this or anything, that's just more of the same thing playing out, which is just getting lost in identities. What I'm speaking to is that center point, that truth, that direct relationship with God. And through that is clarity. So when we have this in place, it's quite easy to trust ourselves. It's quite easy and simple to then recognize distortion and to name it and to see it and to not enable it. And so for this woman, it's really traumatic to have a life like this because everything really sucks at the beginning, especially if you don't start walking the path of like, clearing all the shit out, essentially. You can refer to it as healing or however you want to view it, but it's just all this shit just gets thrown at you. So you get lost in it, and then you're like, who am I? What am I? And da da da. So I just view it as like this little shitstorm, and you're just like clearing the shitstorm, like the sun's coming out. You're just like, oh, like this is me. I'm not all that bullcrap. Like I'm. I'm clear in who, what, and how I am, right? And we don't need to check a box or have somebody's approval for that to be the case. It's recognizing it for what it is. And these God codes are being illuminated right now to support the whole awakening of humanity. Because in the truth of who we are, when the feminine settles into herself, it is a deep primal call for the masculine to step up. So both men and women, and masculine and feminine energies. I don't just mean an energy as a gender, or I do not mean an energy as a gender. I mean the energy as the energy, and then I also mean people as people. So what we're seeing is a call for a recentering and a genuine balance of these energies within people. And in this, it's going to be the return to our natural states of who and how we are. So as this is expressed, your specific path as this specific woman in this path, you embody the awakening of these codes. So the more that you can stop enabling people when they attack you and start trusting and validating yourself and your experience, even if you don't know or have words, even if it's just a feeling like a yes, no, or like I gotta go, or like don't speak, or whatever it is that's coming up, the more you build relationship with that, you're building relationship with God, with truth, with Holy Spirit, and with the navigation of what is trying to flow through you to be expressed as aligned to the most high and divine alignment and path forward. And that's the most clear and concise way to put it. So I trust that you can receive that with those words, with this transmission. And I honor you where you are at. I honor you in all the fear and all the doubt and the pain and the anger, so much rage and resentment. I honor you there. It really sucks. Like, it's honestly just the most difficult thing. But you're here because you're actually meant to get through it. So I'm posting this for you because I know you're going to get through it. And if you seek a sister to guide you who walks through this path, come find me. And I feel that that is a wrap on episode 2, season 2. I feel really excited for the following episode. I'm going to start interviewing with other sisters and just exploring different perspectives and mindsets and people on the journey and on the path and their way of expressing and feeling and navigating. Um, for me, I hold this place of center, and I recognize that there are so many words and ways of expression, and I've held myself to not fall into systems and identities and checked boxes. And even if I dipped into a space, I would quickly dip out. And for me, this was just a primal, natural way. Like, I didn't realize consciously what I was doing, but I was doing exactly what I just walked you through, which was trusting myself, having relationship with this place of center. And in this, I've just recognized there's so many ways that the truth is expressing, and it's important that we develop relationship with the sensation of God and where we are in our heart and what is coming through in that moment, because when it comes to that, what is felt and known and here versus like a limiting word, the words are so limited. And the words will come naturally when we build relationship with our heart and what is flowing through us in this central channel and connection. So, with that, sister, I also have some really exciting things cooking and aligning for my business and the structure. Um, Not quite ready for a full announcement, but if you know, you know. And if you are not yet on my email list, join it, because that's exactly where you're going to want to be to receive this announcement. Okay, with that, I love you, I feel for you, and I would love to hear from you. Um, Share with me what this episode illuminates and what it brings up for you. And I'll see you next time. Ooh, much love.